Wendy McKay grew up in a small town in Central Texas where everyone knew everyone. After 34 years living within this community, Wendy and her family left Texas and moved to Richmond, Virginia.
It was very a sense of isolation, of not really knowing how to build a network of community the way I had just organically fallen into it as a kid. When you grow up surrounded by that sense of community, you don't understand or realize that it's not always that way.
Wendy searched for a sense of community in her newfound home and eventually organized her neighbors into a small women's ministry that eventually expanded into over 70 women that gave Wendy a taste of the community she was searching for. Wendy then broadened her search for community and attended seminary.
I started experimenting with hanging out in places that I couldn't necessarily out there. So I volunteered at the homeless shelter. I started doing prison ministry. I started engaging in types of opportunities where I could build relationships that were unique. I learned so much from our friends who had experienced things that I never had, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to be a part of bridge building.
Wendy began volunteering with Caritas, the largest homeless services provider in the city of Richmond, and met someone there who would shift the direction of her life.
I met this young woman named Shannon, and Shannon had a newborn baby. He was about 2 weeks old, and when she was talking about her journey into homelessness, she was holding her newborn, and she said, "This time it's going to be different. This time I'm going to make it."
Wendy felt a kinship towards Shannon. They shared a connection as mothers. Wendy wanted to help Shannon make it.
She and I became friends. She moved out of the shelter and she moved into an apartment. I watched her go from being elated at being in her own place to frustrated, irritated, and depressed. And I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "Day after day I sit in this apartment. I don't have anything to do." I asked her a really simple question. I said, "If you could do anything, what would you do?" And she said, "If I could do anything, I'd help other people. So many people help me. I just want to help other people."
That simple question was the birth of Embrace. Embrace started off small, helping a little boy get his first bike.
She met this little boy named Tank. Tank was 7. Tank had never had a bicycle. And Shannon said, "If we could get Tank a bike, that would be great."
Wendy sent out an email to the women in her ministry. 8 bikes appeared in Wendy's garage the next day. Wendy brought them to Shannon, who gave the bikes away to Tank and other kids in the neighborhood. Eventually, their little operation grew into a full-fledged furniture bank.
What we saw was this really strong growing sense of community among those that were serving together. And so it included individuals who were driving furniture in from across the region, as well as those who were giving the furniture out, those who had previously experienced homelessness. And this mutual exchange, everyone working together for the common good, that was really when I knew that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create spaces that brought people together to serve in a way that was dignifying and honoring to the gifts of all.
However, as the furniture bank grew, Wendy was no longer able to meet with everyone who came in and share the story of Embrace. She felt that the community that was once blossoming had all but vanished.
In 2008, I approached Caritas and shared with them that while I knew it was a needed resource, it really wasn't the fullness of what I wanted to see Embrace be. And so they took over that program. It became a program of Caritas, and we shifted toward community building.
Embrace would spend the next few years in Hillside Court, an RRHA public housing complex, working to help strengthen the community from the inside out.
As we started to ask the residents, if you could do anything to make Hillside a better place, what would you do? And so we started forming these little action teams, and within 3 to 4 years, we had 9 resident-led initiatives.
These included a football team, cheerleading, a cooking group, a senior team, and many more.
That sense of community that I had experienced in the early days of the furniture bank was repeated there in Hillside Court.
Embrace did its job, and slowly the residents of Hillside Court did not need help anymore. They were a strong community all on their own. Wendy's mentor then asked her a very important question.
He said, Wendy, do you want to be Embrace Hillside or do you want to be Embrace Richmond?
Wendy decided she wanted to see Embrace in neighborhoods all across Richmond. To do that, Wendy shifted Embrace's mission once again. Embrace is now an intermediary, training others in asset-based community development, a sustainable form of community development that focuses on the gifts, talents, and abilities of residents who are already there, instead of relying on outside resources. Embrace is now working with partners across the country, and in 2019 rebranded to become Embrace Community, reflecting their growing vision of fueling a nationwide movement.
All of our community members are actively seeking to strengthen their community. For Embrace and for myself, it's the relationships. That's the true value in the work we do. It's rebuilding or reweaving the fabric of community. When it works, it's a beautiful thing.